In this presentation, I share a collection of writing fragments, poems, photographs, and piano music to explore my lived experiences of being and becoming an tographer as a pianist, teacher, and educational researcher. By sharing my ongoing tographical journey, I illustrate how I am learning to rediscover the quiet moments of creativity in my life and the ways in which they inform, shape, and inspire my teaching praxis. In the spirit of centering the arts and creativity in teaching, learning, and research, my work is rendered through the lens of evocative qualitative inquiry. Evocative qualitative inquiry invites alternative, creative, academic inquiry paths. It encourages me to embrace the personal, my subjectivities, to acknowledge and to uncover my own voice, and to write to name my reality. Jeeyeon Ryu highlighted that, quote, "We are lucky to have a vocation of scholarship, a calling. But who is calling? Ourselves. Write for yourself. Try to figure out what you want to say." End quote. Inspired by creative forms of writing as inquiry, I am learning to write and rewrite self through the textual, visual, and musical narratives. As I practice writing poems, piano playing, and taking photographs, I seek to gain new understandings about who I am, who I have yet to be. Attending to my quiet moments of creativity, I unfold the ever-present emergent process of churning and returning to my essential self. My truer self, to uncover my voice, to explore, to rediscover what brings more joy and beauties in my life. I am learning to listen to the inner landscapes of my being with and through music, words, and lights. Drawing from the lens of evocative qualitative inquiry, I am practicing artography as a pianist teacher and educational researcher. Artography, with A for artist, R for researcher, and T for teacher, is a form of living inquiry that combines life writing with life creating artful practices. For me, poetry, music, and photography invite new possibilities for life writing and life creating experiences. In writing my everydayness through the arts helped me to attend to the hidden beauties and possibilities awaiting in the quiet moments. In stillness, I am learning and relearning to being with the recreative process of being and becoming. Currently, I teach graduate education courses such as curriculum as living inquiry, reflexive inquiry, and self-directed inquiry. In these courses, I share my creative works with students to practice living inquiry and reflexivity as a reciprocal, collaborative teaching and learning process. I share my poems, photos, and piano playing to join students as a co-participant, co-creator, and co-collaborator as we explore self and self in relation with others through our shared inquiry journeys. I often create erasure poems with and for students as a way of reflecting on our course readings and dialogues. Here's an example that I recently created from one of our class discussions about what it means to practice reflexivity. For me, with and through the poetic worlds, I am learning to embrace writing as a way of coming into knowing. I also share my own photos and poems with students to illustrate how I'm learning to attend to the quiet beauties and hidden joys in my everydays. capturing lightful moments with lights through photography inspire me to better recognize self and self in relation with others, as I learn to rediscover a renewed sense of awareness and appreciation for the fleeting moments. For me, improvising my own music invites self-reflexive practices to help me discover and rediscover new inspirations as I continue to search for what it means to become a pianist-teacher-researcher. The moving image in this video is a reflection of myself playing the piano, and the fragmentary lights, hand movements, and improvisational moments evoke metaphors for reflexive teaching and learning that I aspire to practice as an arts-based educator. Attending to the fragmentary moments, improvisational, impromptu ways of being with what brings us joy, creativity, and meaning in our lives. For me, quiet moments with piano playing reminds me to listen to my inner being. Through poetry, photography, music, and reflexive writing, I practice orthography to continue searching for new creative ways of recreating more meaningful teaching and learning experiences. Drawing my inspirations from the arts, I discover the quiet moments of creativity in my life and the ways in which they inform, shape, and inspirit my teaching praxis. Writing poems to reflect on my experiences, taking photos to pause and listen to the inner voices, playing piano, creating my own melodies and harmonies, learning to being with self, remembering who I am. In sharing fragments of my everydayness as a pianist-teacher-researcher, it is my hope to invite further conversations about the possibilities for embracing artistic practices as a pedagogical way of turning and returning to the creative self. What kind of practices bring joy and creativity in your life? In what ways might you embrace the arts to develop your praxis? What are your own ways of returning to self as a pedagogical way of creating more meaningful teaching and learning experiences? For me, the arts help me to continue returning to my own creative self, and I look forward to exploring various artistic practices and different ways of embracing creativity in our everydays with everyone in the upcoming 19th International Conference by the Arts and Society in Hanyang University. Thank you, everyone.